Dr. Steve Victor Herbert III, and I'm taking it to the house.
And I'm Dr. Timothy Hoover, and I'm taking it to the house. We want to welcome y'all to another edition of our show. And we just want to kick it with y'all. Hey, Vic, can I kick it?
Yes, you can.
Can I kick it?
Yes, you can.
I'm going to kick off with just honoring, first, just recognizing what Major League Baseball has done as of yesterday, recognizing Jackie Robinson Day. What an outstanding tribute when every Major League Baseball player can wear the number 42, but understand what it stands for, what it meant in the dark days when he actually broke the color barrier and joined the major leagues, and how far we've come. But I just wanted to recognize Major League Baseball with all the changes that you have going on. It's not the same by no means, but to take a moment to pause and make this an annual event to honor Jackie Robinson's, I salute you and to his legacy.
I enjoy how you open it up with that. If any one of the major sports has done it right, when we're celebrating diversity, we're celebrating breakthrough accomplishments, Major League Baseball has done that. Since the days of my youth, all I remember is Jackie Robinson breaking the color barrier. We have celebrated that. And so for them to take it to this annual celebration, it's phenomenal. It's great that it stood the test of time. I do not know, as much as I enjoy sports, I do not know who the first person in the NBA to break the color barrier, nor the NFL. And if they are known, they do not do a great job of celebrating that accomplishment. But for baseball, it's such a pivotal time in the when it was integrated to really hang their hats on. This was important of our history, of our legacy. For so many times, people nowadays are trying to act as if parts of history did not happen. Guess what? It's history. It happened. It made us who we are today. The resilience, the strength, the lessons learned. And so, not to relish in the past, but to recognize the past and a significant event in that past that made what's happening in the present future, in the future happen. So, definitely applaud Major League Baseball. Every year they have this recognition and how they rally around the Robinson family, and how great it was to see Mrs. Robinson still with us at how old? 101 years old. And so, what a wonderful expression of love, and how the baseball community has encapsulated, but also opened up this celebration to the country to celebrate diversity at its finest levels. Hats off, hats off.
Conversely, I don't even know if we can segue right into this next iconic black man, talk about O.J. Simpson in the same breath when we talk about the Jackie Robinson. So to our audience and to even ourselves, we pause, and there should be a long pause separating the two. However, the O.J. Simpson, the football player, wow. But he's known more now for what he did off the football field. But to say the least, we want to take time to recognize him that he did pass away, and that was a week ago on Wednesday. He did pass away, and the first one to break the 2,000 yard mark in a season, and then it was a shortened season compared to what they're able to do nowadays. And still, no, there were other blacks before OJ, but to do it where he was black. He was celebrated. He was celebrated by blacks and whites. And then what he was able to do and transition right off the football field, and then seemingly make a way in the white man's world, if you will. And so he did broadcasting, he did movies, and he was doing well. He was a symbol of success for the black man. And then that night happened. I don't know if you want to go into that as much, and I really don't. But I wanted to talk about him, the football player, as much. And it's up to you which way you go. I can't speak for you. But when I was a young cat, man, who didn't want to be like OJ? You know, run through the airport, jumping over luggage, and everybody wanted to be. Everybody loved OJ. Everybody loved OJ, and part of me still loves OJ. And I commented in the green room that I pray in his afterlife that he's able to find peace, because his last few days, last few years on this earth, from my point of view, from my lens, was not very peaceful, and it just wasn't the way to go out, considering everything and his exploits that he had on the football field.
I concur. You can't have the O.J. Simpson story without talking about O.J. Simpson, the man. What he did on the football field was phenomenal. When he did it was phenomenal. He's a USC alum. I'm a USC alum. We have his Heisman. We had his Heisman displayed prominently at Heritage Hall. So we cannot discuss his 76 years on life without talking about who he was on the field, how he made his life in his post football career. By the time I got very involved in football, what I really understood him was the Hertz guy, the commentator, and the naked gun guy, and it was hilarious. But we're talking about 76 years of life. And in every one of our chapters of life, we have segments, we have stories. Unfortunately, he's also famously or infamously known for some tragedy that occurred in the late 90s. And it becomes near and dear to my heart because, again, I'm a USC grad. That was my freshman year of college in LA at USC in my sociology class. And we followed his court case to a T, and it became a very prominent space for discussion. Black and white relations in LA, black and white relations across the country, the criminal justice system. It exposed the world of the inaccuracies or the injustices that some may feel the criminal justice provides, but also highlighted within the black community. If you have money, you have access to this. If you don't have money in the black community, you have access to this. So, as a sociological project, what that exposed to me, looking at the O.J. Simpson situation, was so much underneath, so much layers of us as a people. And so I think it's we do an injustice to not speak about his 76 years life as a whole, as the whole picture. Whether he's guilty or not, that's for the courts to know, which they declared in 1994-95 that he was acquitted. Yes, there's a civil suit among something else. But if we want to believe in a criminal justice system, we believe in a criminal justice system. However, we do know he also went off to prison for some other things. And so I wasn't there that night when his ex-spouse and her friend was brutally murdered. And my prayers are with them and their family. My prayers are with even OJ during that time, whether he was involved, aware, unaware, the mental impact it had to have on him as a person who still had to live another 30 years with that hanging over his head, with that knowing he had children, their mother. So I look at the whole picture of what that did to his trajectory of life. No one's taken the time to understand that piece. So yes, smoking gun, so many conspiracy theories there, but at the end of the day, you and I don't know. General America does not know what happened that night. What I do know is there have been some horrible, despicable people in this world that have done some very heinous things. We're talking about genocidal murders of people, of communities. What I did not enjoy is that there are people who actually celebrated this man's death. He didn't commit the heinous crimes again of Rwanda or killing millions of Jews or having atrocities in Cambodia. He didn't drop bomb on Hiroshima. He didn't do some heinous levels crimes. I'm not minimizing what he did. But what I have a challenge with, because you and I and the general public was not in that room, nor were we in the front doorway where these atrocities occur, that people actually celebrated his death, not knowing. So if someone asks me, what do I think if he did or not? I don't know. I know the court said he did not, or I know the court said he's acquitted. We understand and we learned a lot of aspects of the criminal justice system and the injustices of people of color. But what I do know that the man passed away of cancer, and to understand he passed away of prostate cancer. And you and I both know cancer in our family is pretty in this stage, in this season of our life, hits pretty hard. And so for anyone forgetting that this man still had children, now these children have no mother, no father. Yes, he lived 76 years of life, but what was that quality of life towards the end? Having a diagnosis of the cancer, it was under the radar, so we don't know the types of challenges nor struggles that he went through as he experienced those last few moments of life. We don't know how he may have sought forgiveness in whatever demons he was plagued with. So we don't know the status of his spirit towards the last days. And so, who are we? Yes, I'm gonna go Christian televangelist right now. He without the first sin cast the first stone. So again, the man lived 76 years of life, became a very polarizing figure. We have a football chapter of his life. We have a post-football chapter of an entertainer and a broadcaster. Then we had another chapter of a known fugitive at one point in time, and one of which who was accused of a murder. So I think it's always safe how we depict and how we share about the O.J. Simpson story in our life journey. Who was this man? And you can't share without talking about the whole story.
Yeah. Well said. Well said. And the other evangelical moment that I would say, even the thief on the cross had a chance for redemption. Even the thief on the cross. And so we don't know what OJ went through. We don't know if he asked for forgiveness. We don't know. We should not judge. And so to celebrate his death is tells a lot about you as a person. If you are one of those people to celebrate death in general, but you're right, my co-host Vic. You're correct. You cannot talk about one side of OJ. You're going to have to talk about all of OJ, who he was, his impact on society, on the gridiron, and even afterlife. And so he did impact greatly, especially when you talk about the racial division. And it just reminds us of America. We are in America. It should be the greatest and proudest land in the world. And yet there is inherent division. And it doesn't help when you have whites hoping that he's guilty, blacks hoping that he's not guilty. How about if he did it, he should be guilty and be found guilty. And if he's not, he should be innocent, not black or white. No, let the court decide and live with what the court has decided. But clearly, people were divided just because of color alone. And so you've been there, you saw the story, you were in LA at the time. During those pivotal moments and when the glove didn't fit, you must acquit. And so he was acquitted of that. But yet, how did he live? We don't know how he lived post life. So we can only look at it from our point of view, how we would have maybe been in dishonor or shamed, wanted to hide under a rock. Don't see me. Matter of fact, you don't see me. You don't know I exist. But he did live. And again, I will say again, OJ, the football player, OJ, the entertainer, OJ, the announcer, commentator, that's who I celebrate. That's who I celebrated. But you make very good points about, well, we got Simpson family. I'll talk about his kids and without mother and father. And so having to go through that, we pray for peace in their household, and we still pray for the Goldmans and the Simpsons as a whole. Transition, sir. The WNBA. They had a draft yesterday. Maybe you heard something about that. Maybe you heard a little bit about that. There was no surprise, and I wanted to bring this to you. There was no surprise who was going to go number one with the Caitlin Clark. But here's what I wanted to talk about. The number, Miss Cardosa, drafted by the Chicago Sky. You know that? Cardosa, from the NCAA Women's Champion Gamecocks. She went to the Chicago Sky. You know who they picked number 7? LSU. Angel Reese. Wait a minute. Do you know the backstory behind that? Just a few short weeks ago, These were opponents. They were ready to go to battle. These two. And now, on draft day, what do? You kiss and make up? I just, I find it humorous. I find it funny. But I also find how the dollar and being drafted and being able to elevate your and be recognized at a higher plane, higher level, that okay, let bygones be bygones, or will they? Because I know women can be catty, dog. They can go at it for no reason. So will they be able to squash that and go on with their professional career? I just had to bring that to your attention. I don't know if you knew that.
Well, the part that gets me giddy that this is a leadership experience. So they do have beef. So they were on two opposing teams in the same conference, SEC conference, where sports is life. And you're talking about LSU, you're talking about University of South Carolina. And they have shared titles within the last 4 years. And to have that competitive advantage, to have that competitive edge, to know that it's me versus you. Now, we're teammates. Now we're teammates. But they both should have a level of respect and understanding. Oh, I know this person will battle. I know if anything, they can go at it. I know if anything, they will have my back. Now, how deep is the division? How deep is it what we saw on the court, just competitive fire? No different than we witnessed Caitlin Clark and Angela Reese. They say they had beef, but they say, look, off the court, yeah, we good. But what do you want? Strap it up. Let's go. So I would like to believe they're professionals. Yes, they're young. They're in their early 20s, but they're professionals. I'm getting paid big money to win a championship here in Chicago. But again, that's between two grown women. I look forward to watching what the coach does, how the coach is able to galvanize the group, how the coach is able to say, guess what? We got you two, and Indiana got one person. What are we going to do? Because even right now, they're not counting us to be in the championship. They're not counting us. The odds in Vegas not saying we're going to be anywhere close. So we can take this high school, this college drama, and either bury it or take it to our professional WNBA locker room,
Right.
or grow up. Whatever beef you have, handle it. We're here to win championships. We got a 4-year contract for both of you young women. Now, we're going to be about this business or we're not. So I would love to be a fly on the wall as the coach sits these new rookies down who have high potential and say, what are we going to do? What's your beef? What's your beef? Handle it. Now we're ready. Because let's put childish things away and be some grown women up in here today. So I would love to watch that part. Because to me, the past is done. That was great. Y'all both won your college championships. Good job. Now what? They've already said Indiana is the team to beat. So we want to sit here and dance and play patty cake while Caitlin Clark rains threes all around the WNBA. What we're going to do. So I'm excited to watch that part of it.
I agree with you. It's a lot on the coach, but in the locker room, we're going to have some veterans who's going to have to put them together and say, "Hey, y'all, this is a different atmosphere altogether. It's a whole different playing field. We all have beefs and call it friendly rivalries when it comes to our college teams, but that's gone. That's done. That's behind us. We're going to be professional, and we got to put some pelts on the wall. We got to win. We got to, as you say, galvanize. We got to put it together and come together as a team. And Chicago Sky, they are a pretty decent team. What I recall, what I remember. Let's see how they do with these two rookies and the veterans that they have. And the Fever, favored to win. Somebody may have said that because their odds are better because of Caitlin. I think Caitlin still has a whole lot to learn. I'm wanting to see when she goes up against a whole bunch of women who are just like the people that are the Gamecocks, South Carolina. There's going to be every night she's going to be going up against somebody who's going to be wanting to take her cookies. How will her game translate? Let's see. Now, I'm not rooting against her. but I'm going to be interested in seeing. Okay, let's see the Steph Curry in a female body. Let's see how you have to adjust your game, pivot, take that step back, and shoot that three. Let's see what you're able to do with people that are just as quick as you are, as tall as you are, if not better than you are. Let's see what you're able to do and what adjustments you make to be successful. But I also wanted to say we didn't get a chance to acknowledge the South Carolina Gamecocks, the ladies, for their win, Don Staley. So we want to salute you on this program for coming down with the national championship. And so Don Staley, continue to do the damn thing. And to the UConn men, March Madness came down to you guys winning it all. No surprise to me. And my co-host over here, and the reason why I bring it up, because he didn't pick y'all. I picked you. I picked you. Purdue had nothing for you, man. They had nothing for you, UConn. So thank you for making me look good, UConn.
So can we get back to the women? Like you the straight
Help
transition, just so you
yourself.
can throw that in there. Just so you can throw that in there. Yeah, you right. You right. I was all on the ZD, I was all on the Edie train. Man still did his thing, and you kind of say, yeah, go get yours. But I'm gonna put a parentheses page holder right there. Because what you're not gonna do, you're not gonna let me comment on the women. I got a question. Has your interest level in the WNBA increased based off the buzz you had in NCAA women watching Reese, Cardoza, Caitlin Clark, Ward? Has your interest increased like with a level of anticipation for WNBA season?
That's a very good question. So, yes, my interest is, and I believe the common fan, and even those who don't know basketball or don't follow basketball, I think that their interest is going to be elevated. So, you talk and you know management, you know organizational management better than even myself. And so, the WNBA needs to know how to get their marketing together to make this shine. Having said that, when you have Muhammad Ali and Joe Frazier, everybody wanted Joe to win. You had to have a good guy and a bad guy. Caitlin Clark, for some, is very good, but there's a whole lot of people that want to see her lose. So automatically, it's a story. Automatically, you're going to have interest, and automatically, you're going to have. I would think that ABC, CBS, ESPN, and every sports program is going to get and dig in and invest in the WNBA because of the moment right now. It's lightning in a moment. So for me, you ask me directly, yes, I'm interested because I don't believe that she's the best WNBA player. She was one of the best college players ever to lace them up. But it doesn't automatically mean you're the best or one of the best WNBA players. And so I'm willing to see that. I'm willing to see what Las Vegas Aces got for her. Okay? Las Vegas Aces, again, everybody in the WNBA will want to squash her and put her name down because they don't want to be embarrassed by her. And so automatically there's a storyline. You got the good and you got the bad. Don't know where you fall or how other people will fall, but they will want to see her succeed and some will want to see her fall. So yes, my interest will be elevated just a little bit more because of the Caitlin Clark factor. Yes, sir. What about you? Toss it back to you on the same question.
Oh, I'm all in. And I remember when the league launched in 1997. I was in Germany, and I had classmates. Tina Thompson, Lisa Leslie made it to the league out of USC. I watched it periodically. It was if I had something to do type entertainment. And over the years, I may have occasionally watched it at a high school classmate, Adia Barnes, playing it. So I watched it occasionally. I missed the opportunity to watch. I remember the Shamiko. I watched it. I wasn't invested in it. I'm invested in it now. Uh, the college game had piqued my interest. The last few years, in particular, has piqued my interest. And I'm not. I don't want to watch it for Caitlin to get humbled. I watch it. I want her to succeed. I want Angel to succeed. I think at the 30 years of ball that this has been in, I almost equate it to the 30 years prior than Bird and Johnson coming into the NBA. Everybody watched
Okay. Okay.
basketball, but it was the passerby sport. It was on tape delay. It was drug infested. It just wasn't the sport. We remember baseball was king. And then something happened from college, the momentum of Johnson and Bird being drafted to the pros. One East Coast, one West Coast. And yes, it created polarizing experience. I'd hate to think along racial lines, but we know it was along racial lines. But they both were good. And they created one of the best rivalries and reignited a rivalry we needed between the Lakers and the Celtics. It galvanized the country. Bird did not win in college. Johnson took that title. So you come into the league and I get to have a chance to meet face to face, and it did energize the American people to watch this sport. I look at this like that. The women's sport has finally reached a point where it has garnered so much attention. Watching the NCAA women's tournament to the point where people, fans, fans of men college basketball turn off the men's game to turn on the women's game. So the momentum is there, the interest is there. We need if us as girl dads and us as we look at this sports in general want this competitive product, she needs to succeed. I'm not saying they need to make her they need to pull calls. No, I want aces. I want the sparks. I want them to bring her to smoke. I want her to get humbled, but I also want her to be successful. I want Angel to be successful because I want the narrative to come from what they did in college and how Angel beat her one year with the John Cena. The next year, Caitlin gets the revenge game, but then South Carolina still comes out on top. There's a lot of momentum coming from the college game when we get to watch these women for 3 or 4 years, get to know their names. I can know 3 women's names right now from college that made the WNBA, and I'm ashamed to say I don't know that many men's names. I don't know that many men's names. I don't even watch men basketball that much until it gets to the playoffs, March Madness. So I need them to be successful. Now, the teams may not be successful, and it may take some time as they draft, but to keep this momentum and the energy level. Where last night I'm at the airport leaving from Louisiana, and my nephew and I are actually scrolling through the draft and seeing who got selected. I never did that before, but I knew. And so to see that and wondering, he said, "Hey, but second round, this is the other player from Iowa that got drafted. Wow, okay, where they going?" And now I find myself having to study up on the WNBA season standings. When is the game released? I know we have the Washington Mystics here in DC, so I need them to succeed. Adam Silver needs them to succeed if they want this league to continue with the momentum and being able to stand on its own and out of the shadows of the NBA. So I'm really excited. I am. I will purchase some tickets. I will take my daughter to it. I will watch it by myself. So I am very interested to see what quality of play. In particular, I'll watch when Caitlin comes to town. I'll watch when Angel Reese comes to town. So really, I'm interested. I'm definitely have my attention. Because they have it, they have to keep it. Because I'm peeking. I'm peeking in the door. I see something I like. I think I like it. Got to keep my attention. Otherwise, I'm turning the channel.
I'm leaving it with you, bro, because now you can go into the talk about the men's game if you choose, or not, because we can transition because you have a chance. You have the mic. It's hot.
So I props to UConn. They are that team. I really enjoyed watching the coach in action. We watched Edie, a man amongst the boys, 7'4", doing damage. And guess what? He did that. He wrecked shop all through the playoffs, all through the tournament. And guess what? He wrecked shop in the championship game. That's the beauty of UConn, and the coach said, "My boy's a bad man. Let him get his. Let him get his 30 plus. We're not going to match up against him. But what we are going to do, we're not going to let the perimeter guards get off. We're going to shut the 3-point line down." So what? They had nothing to do but to pass it. Your 2 points, and we be disciplined, but you're not getting them 3 points. They got one 3-pointer that whole game. Yo, that's a
Yeah.
masterpiece. That's a coaching masterpiece to say he can get off. Y'all ain't. And how do they work that? So I didn't see that coming. But it takes trust as a coach. It goes back to leadership. That coach having trust and confidence in his players, and his players having trust and confidence in him. Coach, you mean to tell us don't don't let you want him to score, but you want us to defend? Yeah, let him get his. I'm holding you all accountable for the 3-point line. I'm holding y'all accountable. Coach, you sure this is gonna work? Yep, it's gonna work. And what did it do? They blew the brakes off them jokers. So at least Purdue showed up. It's a good story for them to redeem the embarrassment from the year prior. But they ran up against the team that said, hi, it looks nice, doesn't it? You have your nice, pretty toy in the paint. Great. Play with him all day. But what y'all not going to do, you're not going to dethrone us as the champs. We're the champs for a reason. Give us your best. And you did. We took your best and raised it, then some. Woo! Clinic.
I will.
Impressive.
I will say this because you reminded me of my interest in the women's Final Four championship and the men's Final Four, and you can look at the two. I could felt different about both. I was very interested in what was going on the women's side. I was watching it, tracking it, and stayed engaged in it. The only for the whole year, the only game that I saw was the last game. And then I was barely watching it because of the domination which you just spoke of. And it was white noise in the background. I was not engaged in the men's final game. As you were talking about the coach, Hurley, a coaching masterclass on how to guard against an elite center in their game, in their sport. Here's my point. The men's college game, y'all need to change some things. That one and done rule is a problem. I don't identify with players. I identify with teams. I identify with reputation. I identify with your history. But I can't track these players because they're in and out. There's no storyline. There's history with the school. Yes. I didn't know Edie. Don't know him. I haven't been tracking Edie. I don't even know how many years he's been playing. And so I knew Caitlin Clark. I knew Angel Reese. I can follow Don Staley. I can follow Gino Ariama in UConn. And these other women and what they're doing because they're staying longer. That's my theory, is because they are staying longer, I can track them and stay with them longer, stay engaged with the women's game. The men's game was less exciting as a whole, especially that final game. So I'm just one person, but it multiply me by millions. And there are many who I've talked to said the same thing. The women's game was more exciting. It should have been featured greater, should be marketed better than what it was. It shouldn't be treated like a stepchild. The WNBA, catch this lightning in a bottle, catch it, hold on to it, because you don't have to be the stepchild to the NBA. You can be your own entity and be great on your own. And this is a time, as my co-host was talking about, where you have this wave, you have this tsunami, and it can be called the Caitlin Clark effect. But what it is, it's an interest, and people are engaged. And because he's peeking in the window or peeking in the door, or we are peeking in the door, we want you to hold our interest. Just play at the highest level that you possibly can and keep going with what you're doing. And so the college game was fantastic, is fantastic. We want the WNBA to, again, elevate themselves on their own merits and on their own right. And so with success of Caitlin Clark, the Angel Reeses, the Cordosas, the Sparks, the Skies, whatever team, the Fever, whoever team you may be on, no, market yourself, find that Larry Bird, find that Magic Johnson, find that story, bring it to national attention. Let us root for success or lack of success. Let us do that, because right now we are ready for you. Back to the men's game. The college men's as an entity, you guys y'all got work to do. Y'all have work to do. Brother, we got the play-in tonight. We got the playoffs starting this weekend. I'm talking about the NBA. We're talking about the association. And we got our Lakers playing tonight. Brother, before I go off on a tangent, I'm going to give you a chance. What say you?
I don't know why we're in this situation. We did not need to be talking about playing games. I'm glad we made it from the 10th seed to the 8th seed. That is some sad, sad expectations. We had opportunities. My fear is Ham's gone at the end of this year. Yes, you made it to the Western Conference Finals last year, but your team underachieved. Yes, you win the in-season tournament. Your team underachieved. Now we're having to play the Pelicans for a number 7 seed. We were just days away from having to play the Warriors for a win or go home scenario. That we're better than that. We have arguably the best player still in the league today. Anthony Davis has played his butt off this year. We've teased him for his health, and yet he has shown this year he came to play. Where was the rest of the team? Was it the team or was it coaching? I don't like this feeling. I have not watched a lot of ball this year because I still feel that we're better. Even though we're over 500, we're better than the 8th or 7th seed team. There's teams we should have beat. Now, if this was a rope a dope NBA style, I don't like the rope a dope. But if that's our strategy, I'm still a homer. Let's bust their head open to the white meat. But why go through this? Why win this game and get the 7th seed? And sure, we'll play whoever's the tie. What? Denver, Oklahoma, Minnesota. Why? Why go through that? Why put our fate in the hands of something else? There's extra games. You're risking injury. We're an old team. I don't like this feeling. Yet I do believe we'll win tonight. I do believe we'll get to the second round. I just don't like this is we're playing too hard unnecessarily at the inopportune times. That's my take on it.
We got the Lakers going up against New Orleans Pelicans tonight for the play-in. You're right, for the 7th seed. The winner of the 7th seed will play Denver. That's our kryptonite. The loser will play the winner of Golden State, who plays tonight, against the Kings. I think Golden State will win that game. So then, therefore, will New Orleans beat Golden State? Because I'm like you. I think the Lakers will win tonight. I think they will. And that will make, I'm predicting that the Dubs will be the 8th seed. They will play against, who is it? OKC. That's correct. OKC is now number 1 in the West. And so here's why I brought that up. Golden State Warriors, winners of 4 championships. And then we got the Lakers. You just talk about a storied franchise. We got 17 under our belt, right? 16, 17. I forget. I forget because when you have so much, you lose money. Money falls out. That's what happens when you win so much. But you've got 2 iconic franchises fighting, like you say, working too hard to just qualify to get into the playoffs. 7th and 8th seed, is that what we're down to, playing for the 7th and 8th seed? No, you need home court. When you are older, as you are, Steph Curry and LeBron James, when you are older, you need less wear and tear on your body. So, having said that, we're here. Okay, we are here. My co-host has gone as far as said we'll go to the second round, which means that we have to beat Denver to get to the second round. I'm going to ride my co-host coattails. I'm going to do that because he's got it like that. I don't have that confidence, but because he's clairvoyant, he's good like that. I'm going to go with my co-host and say we will beat Denver in the second round. I may not have fingernails. I may not have hair. Well, I don't have hair now. I may not have anything left, and my butt cheeks may squint and clench every seat that I sit in along the way. But I'm on the ride. Let's go. Let's make it happen. We'll talk about the East next week, but we'll focus on the West. We got the play in going on. And so good luck to the Lakers. Good luck to the Pelicans. Who else? The Kings and the Golden State, they're playing tonight. And then the real deal starts this weekend.
Yeah, I'm with you there. The only reason I think that we can make it second round, even if we play Denver, I would like to believe there's a level of revenge factor. If they want to learn, as we talked about the men's NCAA basketball or the women's NCAA basketball, have the Lakers take a page out of Caitlin Clark's book. She went on a revenge tour and avenged all those demons before she made it to the league. I'm asking, unfortunately, the Lakers, the storied franchise, go ahead, take care of your business tonight. Go on a revenge tour and teach Denver the lesson. Y'all are better than getting swept. Y'all are better than getting swept. I still believe we were the better team. But then I say take
Yes.
a page out of the men's, out of UConn's coach. But listen, Ham, ask Coach Hurley. Let Joker get his. Let Joker get his. Can we stop everybody else? If Joker's
Yes.
the MVP, let him be the MVP. The dude's magical. The dude's dangerous. The dude inflicts damage. Let him get his. Just don't let everybody else. Handle your business, team. This is very frustrating. The LeBron James era seems to be a failure. We're supposed to have more than one championship in this time frame, and definitely not a bubble championship. So let's do it. That's all I got. That's all I got, man. You're gonna get me hot. I'm supposed to be happy today. You're gonna get me hot.
I'm not gonna get you any more hype, bro. Let's get to the game. It's on right now. Lakers are up. So rest assured, it's gonna be some more. We got another half to play. Lakers are up right now. To our fans, we just want to say thank you. If you sat down for a few minutes, whatever device you're on, uh, thank you for sitting down with us and kicking it with us as we started off just to kick it with you. Thank you very much. We know you're busy. We know that you guys are active. I just want to, as I close, just want to salute to the military men and women that are out there. I pray that we don't go to war. There's wars already going on, but I know there's a vested interest in what's going on in the Middle East. So I pray for our leaders, our leadership in this nation of ours, as well as our military leaders. Let's keep our folks home. Let them fight because they've been fighting for centuries. Let them do what they're doing. But as we speak, gas prices are going up, groceries are going up. Why? Because of what's going on in the Middle East. But again, I salute to the men and women who wear their uniform every day. The three of us, to include our executive producer, Steve Howard, we have worn the uniform. We know what you're going through. We know what you're subjected to. We know what your families are subject to when you're gone and deployed and going downrange. So during this time of stress and high ops, we're praying for you, the military men and women, and we salute you.
Thanks always. Thanks for your support, soldiers, sailor, airmen, Marines, and Coast Guardsmen, and Space Force personnel. I have to say congratulations to my seed, my legacy, my namesake. You see, you all have seen many times on this here program. I don my purple and gold to represent the men of Omega Psi Phi Fraternity Incorporated. Well, this last weekend, my son joins me and my father as a man of this great fraternity. C. Victor Herbin IV crossed those burning sands at Theta Kappa chapter of Omega Psi Fraternity Incorporated at the campus of Louisiana State University. Yes, LSU. He is the five dog, the nasty nickel dog, the tail dog, also known as the jukebox. I say greetings to my son, my frat brother. What an amazing experience to share that with my father, also my frat brother. So we have three generations of men that have pledged their life to this great fraternity and service in the community. Proud father here, proud father. I'm very humbled and excited to watch his journey as an Omega man and the stories he will be able to take part in as his life continues to mature. What a great day for those five men that crossed those burning sands. His ace Demetrius, his ace Cohen, his Deuce Demetrius, his Trey Sora, the four dog Josh, and now always we said the nasty nickel tail dog. My son, my namesake, C. Victor Herbin, known in our family as Quarter, but known in the world of Omega as Jukebox. Thank you all again, son. I'm very proud of you. And I tell you all, Dr. Stephen Herbin III, take it to the house. We're out. See you next week. Catch us on all our social media feeds. And keep in touch, y'all. Love y'all. Take you to the house is out.